Yo, once again, it's on. Back at you one more again, Real Kids TV in the house like motherfucking kitchen sinks. Got a call yesterday from a good friend of mine. I'm talking about him and I, we go so far back, and we sit on the phone and we laughed and we talked and actually he's going to come on the show one day, and I'm going to introduce you all to this individual. Now, before I get into today's story, if you will, understand I'm the self-proclaimed Mr. 30 Minutes or Better. Meaning that anytime I drop a video or story, it's guaranteed to be 30 minutes or better. So if you're on your way to work, you're at work, you don't feel like being there, you're on your way home from work, you need to laugh, you need to cry, you need to lay down and take a nap, or you're trying to go to sleep at night, depending on whatever time you're listening to this video or viewing this video, or you're just in the mood for a good old-fashioned true, keyword being true, penitentiary / real life / life experience story, this is the channel for you. You prefer the 8, 10, 12, 15-minute videos? Absolutely nothing wrong with that. But at Real Kids TV, we guarantee you 30 minutes or better. So with all that being said, there is a message. As I was mentioning, my good buddy, his name is Joseph. Joseph is a good dude, man. I'm talking about, he's just you ever just meet somebody and they're just genuine, you know? Joseph was in high school, well, coming out of high school, he was highly touted. He was an athlete. He played basketball, football, and baseball. Joseph was about 6'4", maybe 6'5". No, he's a black dude, slightly darker than me, wears glasses. Kind of looks like I don't like to call or refer to anybody as a nerd, but you know, he looks kind of intellectual, if you will. Nice size build on him, pause. You know, I would say Joseph probably was weighing in at about, when I met him, at least about 240, 250. So in high school, I would imagine that he was a lot, you know, more slender, if you will. From Alabama. His goal, his dream was to go to the University of Alabama and play football. He was a tight end. He was a defensive end. So as I mentioned, he was highly touted. He was highly recruited. He was also very, very good in basketball. Now, it was clear that football was going to be his, you know, his future. He was playing baseball his senior year, and he was a pitcher. I think a couple pro teams might have looked at him in baseball just as well. He was playing his senior season, and he ended up throwing his arm out. If you're familiar with baseball at all, he ended up having to have Tommy John surgery, which totally just messed everything that could possibly... That was the worst case scenario that could happen. Tommy John surgery is not an injury that you can just easily come back from. Oh, yes, people do come back from it, but you're going to be out a minimum of a year, and that's at a bare minimum. A lot of times 2 years, and you'll be lucky if you ever get back to how you once were. Once these injuries were made aware in public or what have you, the universities that were recruiting him, they backed all the way up. Scholarships took him off the table. Joseph sunk into a deep depression at this point. You know, the thing that he loved, the number one, you know, he loved football. Sure, he played baseball, basketball, but football, like, he just loved it with a passion. How could they do this to me? I thought they wanted me. All the schools that was calling my house, you know, every single night, 9, 10 o'clock at night, past the time probably that they should have been calling, coming to my house, sitting in my living room, sending me letters. Now all of a sudden, my phone's not ringing. Nobody wants me because I have this injury. Deep depression. He doesn't end up going to school, so he has to get a job. During those first couple years, you know, he bounced around from job to job. You kind of know how it is when you first coming out of high school. You don't really have if you don't have a plan, you're not, you know, going to school or getting you a trade or what have you. It's kind of like you work fly-by-night jobs. You may work at this restaurant, this factory, what have you. But most people don't figure it out initially coming out of high school. I'm sorry, this car got really, really close to me, so I'm trying to speak to you all, but yet this car, like, I thought the car was gonna, you know, run into me. So like I said, coming right out of high school, he didn't have a plan. He didn't know what he was going to do. He meets a young lady. We all know what happens once you get into a relationship. He has a child on the way. He's happy that he has this child on the way, don't get me wrong. But at the same time, it's like, man, I kind of really wanted to go back to school. He never really completed his rehab, because when you have Tommy John, you have to do a strenuous rehab. And you have to be cleared by the doctors. He never went back and completed the rehab. So now he gets him another job. He's working 2 jobs. He knows that he has this child to support. Ends up that he's having a son. He's very, very happy about that. And so, Joseph, he wasn't an individual that ever been in any trouble, never had any issues. Matter of fact, he came from a good, wholesome family. Went to church every week. His mother raised him, very, very strong woman, and he just comes from a good Christian background. He had a brother, he had a sister, has a brother and has a sister, and so he kind of ventured away from that as far as going to church on a regular basis. But when you meet him, he was like a very, very mannerable young man. Life hits. He loses his job. He's from a small town in Alabama, so he's having a hard time getting another job. At this point, his son is here. What am I going to do? I have to support my son. I'm not going to be a deadbeat dad. I have to support my son. He gets a call one day from an individual, one of his so-called friends. Now, we know how that goes. When so-called friends call you, they know that you're struggling. They know that you may be going through something right now. Hey, I got a lick for us. I got a plan for us, man. We can all come up. What I got to do, man? Listen, man. It's an armored truck company that I used to work for. I know exactly how they operate. I know exactly how they move. I know which days that they're picking up money, dropping off money. I know everything about it. Man, are you crazy, man? I ain't robbing no armored truck. I'm not trying to rob nobody. Man, I'm trying to tell you, man, it's an easy lick. We, 30, 40,000 just like that, man. Bro, I watch TV. I see that every time you try to rob an armored truck or a casino or something like that, it never goes. Nah, but listen to me, man. On certain days, they only have one person in the truck. Yeah, they lead you to believe that it's somebody else in the back, and that's TV. On certain days, there's only one person in the truck. I'm giving you all the game. Me, you, and another individual that they had. We can go do this, man. We split it up 3 ways. Initially, Joseph's like, nah, man, I'm not doing that, man. Thanks, but no thanks. A few more weeks passed. Hadn't gotten any better. Still hadn't found a job. Baby needs things. He's not really discussing this with anyone. He never told the mother of his child. He never discussed this. It was just something that he had kind of just suppressed, pushed in almost all the way out of his mind. But yet it was still there. He ends up calling this individual back one day. So you really think we can get, 30, 40,000? Man, easily, man. I'm trying to tell you. It just takes about 3 of us, and I just don't trust everybody. That's why I haven't went and done it yet. So what's the intricacies? Basically what happens is when he pulls up to this, to the store or what have you, it's only one driver. He'll get out. He'll go get the money. He'll come out. We catch him right there. Nobody gets hurt. Nobody, absolutely nothing. We get the money. We take his gun, so there's nothing that he can do. Then we out. Joseph has to think on this a couple days, man. Joseph's kind of, he has 1 foot in and 1 foot out. Now, when I say 1 foot in and 1 foot out, meaning he's still in the church, but he's not going to church as often. He's not as active in the church as he once was. He knows that this is wrong. He understands that there is no possible way that his mother would ever approve of this. But more importantly, he's thinking about God. God, if I do something like this, oh my goodness. I know that this is not right, but he's thinking about that 30, 40,000. Man, if I can get my hands on, 10, 15,000, man, I can do so much, man, for my son. I can, irrational thinking, criminal thinking. I'm in. The day comes. They go to hit the lick. When they go to hit the lick, it's 3 of them. Everybody's masked up. Just like the individual said, it happened just like that. Gets out of the car, gets out of the truck rather, goes into the store, they're waiting on him. When he comes out, they up on him. They catch him right when he's getting ready to go into the truck. Now, the way that he was parked, from what I was told, I obviously wasn't there, but the way that he was parked, once he was going to get back into the driver's side, the driver's seat, it kind of blocked, like you couldn't really see what was going on. One of the dudes ran up, get it out. Ran up on him, get it out. Well, he already got it out. He got a bag in his hand. Drop the bag. Drops the bag, kicks the bag over towards him. As he's doing that, give me your gun. I can't give me your gun. Lays the gun on the ground, slides it over. The individual, he picks it up. As he's picking it up, he's watching him very, very closely, as though he had a extra gun in his, in his hip or in his ankle or something. He's watching him very, very closely. He grabs the gun. He grabs the money. They're out. Now, Joseph was more of a kind of like the lookout guy. He didn't really have to do too much at all. He was just there, kind of make sure, nobody came or what have you, but yet he still participated in it. They run off. As they're running off, the back door just abruptly comes open. When the back door opens, it's somebody in the back of the armored truck. This individual had basically guaranteed that there was nobody else other than that one driver on this particular day. Remember what I said? Certain days, it's only one person in the truck. He busts out. As he busts out, dude starts shooting. Bow, 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 bow. He's shooting, but he's running. Well, he's shooting backwards. So as he's shooting backwards, Joseph is kind of like tucked off to the side a little bit. You see what I'm saying? Because he didn't want to get shot. He knew that this is my time. Either I'm going to flee, or I'm going to let this guy shoot me, or I'm going to let this guy take me in, because I know that they've called the cops. The other dude, he's running. He didn't got a head start. He's gone. The dude tells Joseph, freeze. As I mentioned, he's kind of tucked off to the side. Freeze, don't move. First, Joseph's standing there with his hands up. His partners, come on, man, come on. Joseph doesn't know what to do. He's looking at his partners. He's looking at the guy that's telling him to freeze. He's not trying to really make any, sudden moves. The other individual, they have taken his gun, so he's on the radio calling the police. Boom. Joseph's gone. Now, remember what I said? Joseph was a heck of an athlete. Joseph takes off. As he takes off, the individual that came out of the back truck, the officer that came out of the back of the truck, I guess you would call him an officer, he had dead aim. He had Joseph literally in his view, in his range. There was nothing that stopped him from shooting Joseph in the back. He cocked I believe he had a shotgun, Joseph said. He cocked the shotgun. And he wants to shoot. It appears as though he's going to shoot. And he never shoots. Joseph ends up getting away. The three of them, they meet up or whatever. They celebrating. They got a nice lick. He said it was a little bit more than 40,000. So he never said exactly what it was, but he said it was a nice lick. Everybody's happy. Everybody's thrilled that they were able to make it. They had masks on. So they're thinking to themselves, man, we shouldn't get caught. One thing, though. Y'all rock with me, man. Y'all let me know where you're chiming in from. What city and state you? I'm in Lexington, Kentucky. They're happy. They're celebrating or whatever. Everybody gets their cut. I believe Joseph said he ended up with about 20,000. Number one agreement. Just like you see on TV. The number one agreement. Don't tell nobody. And don't be around here flossing no money, you all. Don't floss. Because they're going to be looking. We had a shootout with the armored truck guys. Understand that. They're going to be looking. Just chill out, lay low, don't say nothing. Get picked up. If anybody's questioned by the police, man, we don't know nothing. Y'all don't know me. I don't know you all. Nothing. That was the agreement. Oftentimes that's the agreement, but the thing is it going to stick? Are people going to stick to that actual agreement? One dude went and bought a car. Nice car. Other dude, he's flashing money. The same individuals that saying, hey, just keep this on the low, don't say nothing. Joseph made some mistakes too. He didn't gave his mom a few $1,000s. Where you getting all this money at? How are you giving me $3,000? They're hearing about the armor truck being robbed, but never in a million years would she have thought that her son that, she raised to do the right thing and go to church, and never in a million years did she figure that he would have something to do with this. One of the individuals, they bring him in for questioning. Once they bring him in for questioning, he spills the beans. He can't take it. He tells on Joseph and he tells on the other individual. Police, it wasn't long before police picked them up. Now they're facing major charges. Everybody's telling on everybody. Joseph never says a word. He asked for an attorney. Tables turn, they put it on Joseph as though he planned the entire thing. Here it was, he was the last person that even agreed to it. He was the one that was the most reluctant, but yet the other two pushed the whole thing off on Joseph. They're not really offering much of a plea deal. They're not offering, he's thinking that he's going to go to trial and he's going to get banked. Now, even though it was his first felony, it carries 10 to 20 at 85%. 85%. And that's just for the robbery. Not even the wanton endangerment charges of shooting at the officers. They actually was shooting back and forth, at each other. He's facing a life sentence. Out of the blue, the individual, one of the officers, he shows up in court one day. He wants to talk to the prosecutors. He wants to talk to the prosecutors for leniency on Joseph. He goes to visit Joseph. Now, I don't know if that would be considered a conflict of interest. I don't know, but he goes to the jail and he's able to visit Joseph. The two of them are talking. He's telling him, he's getting some information on him as far as his background, as far as remember, it was a small town. This individual ended up going to the same church as Joseph and his family went to. And so, when he's getting all of this information, because you may go to church with someone, but you don't know everything about that person. Was your dad present? Do you use drugs? What is you see what I'm saying? So he was getting all the information that he could possibly get. And one visit turned into 2 visits. And 2 visits turned into 3 and 4. And he would go and see Joseph every single week. Pray with him. Do Bible scriptures with him. Essentially doing Bible study with him during the course of a 30-minute visit once a week. The courts ended up offering Joseph a plea deal at the very last hour. He was going to trial. He had no choice. His family, they did whatever they could do. They ended up getting him an attorney. So you have this individual that was in the truck that was speaking on his behalf. He ends up taking a plea deal for 20 years. A regular 20 years. He has to do 4 years, and then he has an opportunity to go up, to go home on parole. The individual said that he had every intention on firing that weapon. But when he seen Joseph running, all he could think about was his son. All he could think about was, would I want someone to shoot my son in the back? And he said that he just couldn't do it. He testified in court at Joseph's final sentencing. Because Joseph was asking the court for probation. Partial probation anyway. Powerful testimony. The courts ended up denying probation for Joseph. But Joseph had people on his side, people on his team. See, this individual, he was a man of God. He wasn't one of those spiteful people that was just looking to shoot somebody. And he had every opportunity, and he justifiably could have done so. But as I mentioned, he couldn't bring himself to do it. Joseph's in the county jail. He's struggling. He had been in the county jail at this point for probably like a year. But he's struggling with the thoughts of going to prison. He's, like I said, he's never been in trouble before. He's getting back into the word. You know, he's in his Bible every day. He's really, really, you know, trying to turn over a new leaf and change his life. He ends up coming to the penitentiary. I meet him in the penitentiary probably at about, I want to say, he's about halfway through. He's about 2 years in. I meet him in the church. Young man was playing the keyboard. Seemed to be a positive young man, was singing and praising, and so him and I ended up being in the same dorm. We got to talking. We ended up getting cool. Played on the same little intramural basketball team or whatever. We ended up getting real cool, man. So he's telling me the entire situation, the entire story, you know, of what happened to him. And at this point, we were at the camp. So it wasn't an actual penitentiary. It was a penitentiary, but it was a camp. We weren't behind the walls. We had both been behind the walls. But when we met, we had worked our custody levels down. And so we met, you know, at a camp. Never missed church. This guy would go to church 3 times a week. Very, very positive. Loved to play his music. He was just a positive person. And I said, you know what, man? Joseph is the right name for you. Because if y'all not familiar with the story of Joseph in the Bible, check it out. First book of the Bible. It's in Genesis. Joseph was favored. He had, no matter what his brothers, no matter what people tried to do to him, and preyed on his downfall, Joseph always seemed to be blessed, and he prevailed. He prevailed. That was the same thing with Joseph that I'm speaking of. It seemed like everything he did worked. Every job he tried to get on the yard, he would get it. Every class that he would take or program that he would try to get into, he would get in. If he was looking for something or if he was praying for something, it would just happen. And I'm like, man, you are really like Joseph from the Bible. Like you really truly have favor. Another year passes. And he has 1 year left before he goes up for parole. He's in the honor dorm now. Honor dorm is when you get good conduct, they'll move you to like a 8-man room. Then you'll go to a 6-man room. Then you'll go to a 3-man room. Then a 2-man room. Then you'll go to a 1-man cell. In a cell all by yourself. I think he started off in like the 8-man. Then he went to the 6-man. Then he skipped over all of that and went straight to the 1-man. And it wasn't no chalk mouth. It wasn't no tap dancing. It wasn't one of those situations to where he was telling on people or working with the people. Nah, it was just that favor that he had. Everything that he did, it just worked. Time started getting shorter and shorter. 6 months left. Now he's starting to really, really buckle down. He had already buckled down, but now he's really, really just trying to be all the way focused. He got his plan. He knows what he wants to do when he comes home. He knows everything. He's a little perturbed. He's a little upset because he hasn't had an opportunity to really see his child, to see his son much. He's seen him a couple times, but the mother was kind of disappointed and she didn't really want to, you know, her son come into prison or what have you, so he didn't really get to see his son very much. 3 months, 2 months. Now you look up, the time comes where it's time for him to go up for parole. There was no doubt in my mind that he was going to make parole. Now you had other individuals, man, Joseph think he going to make parole, man. He got a violent robbery. Them people done robbed the armored truck, pulled out a gun, shot out at the people. I said, it's that favor, man. He going to make parole, watch. He going to definitely make parole. Everything that he does, it works. He gets his letter one day. See, in Kentucky, you don't go up for the parole board unless it's like a violent crime. That's the only way you see the parole board. Other than that, you're going to they do what's called a file review. They review your charges, what you've done since you've been locked up. Then they send you a letter in the mail. He receives this letter in the mail. I heard nothing but, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Lord. I love you. Loud. I mean, you just heard praise. You just heard just a whole lot of screaming, but it was in a good way. He had opened his letter and made parole. Oh man, you couldn't help but be happy. Even the haters had to be happy for him. He was going home. Now, when you make parole in Kentucky, you go for parole about a month and a half early. So if your parole date is in, let's say, July, you're going to go up for parole in, May? So you'll go up for parole at some point in May. And then if you make it, you'll go home July the 1st. It's just the way that it works. He's happy. I'm happy for him, man. I'm happy because it's kind of bittersweet because that was my guy. We talked every day. We played chess. Like I said, we played basketball. We just... we fellowship. He didn't have much, but he would cook a meal and hey man, come on down, man. I got some banquet chicken. Nice show chicken. Nah, man, come on, man. I got this for us, man. Come on, let's eat. Type of individual that he was, and I would do the same. He never would buy himself a TV. He had the money to buy a TV, but he never would, because in Kentucky prisons, you can buy your own TV in most prisons. He said, I want to remain focused. I want to stay focused, work on my music, my Bible. This is all I need, man. I don't need no distractions. So he was just sitting in that cell, play his keyboard, read his Bible, and just really work on himself, man. He gets out. He's staying in touch with me. He ends up meeting a nice young lady. The lady that he was with prior to incarceration that had his son, she was trying to get back with him. He wasn't trying to be mean or anything, but that ship had kind of sailed. Once again, he was blessed. There was a lot. She was allowing him to see his son. She didn't give him any flack, any sort of problems whatsoever. He was allowed to see his son anytime he wanted. Now, his son lived in a different city, but they weren't that far away. Maybe a couple hours. Everything is going well for him. He gets a job, pretty decent job. He's back into the church. He's doing his music. You know, he just started his own little gospel rap group. Everything that he said he was going to do, he was doing. He meets another young lady. Meets her at church. Nice young lady. As I mentioned, she's into the church, works, doesn't have a record, she doesn't have any kids, and there's nothing wrong if you meet someone with kids. Absolutely nothing wrong. I'm just painting the picture for you all to let you know this was his scenario. He meets her. Instantly, it sparks fly, man. It was like love at first sight. He's over her house one day. Boom, boom, boom. Somebody's banging on the door. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. Are you expecting company? No, I'm not expecting any company. So she's looking outside. She sees that it's her ex. What is he doing here? I haven't talked to him in ages. Boom, boom, boom. I just need to talk to you. I just need to talk to you. What do you want? I just need to talk to you. Go ahead and talk to him. No, I don't want to. Go ahead and talk to him. He's telling her that he's changed and he wants her back, and the things that he used to do and all of the things that that he once was or what have you. He's not that person anymore. The problem is she's moved on. I gave you chance after chance. I moved on. Matter of fact, this is my fiance. Your fiance? Yeah, this is Joseph. Hold on. Fiance? What? Remember, Joseph was a big dude. Plus, he'd been lifting weights for 4 years straight. He was already 6'4", and a half. 240, 250 coming in. So Joseph's a big dude. We used to work out together. But he's humble. Now, I ain't going out like that, man. I'm not going out like that. You just gonna leave me and be with somebody else? I've told you it's been over with. And I don't appreciate you coming to my house, interrupting us. I don't appreciate this. Is rude. So would you please leave and not come back? Otherwise, I'm going to call the police. Oh, you going to call the police on me? You going to call the police on me, B? He's calling her the B word. Hold on, bro. It's Joseph. Hold on, bro. I can't have you disrespect me. Nah, man. Yeah, you need to leave, man. We try to talk it out. You need to leave. You gonna make me leave? Listen, man, I don't want no trouble. She don't want no trouble. We just want you to leave. Please, I'm asking you to please leave. Dude pulls out the hammer. Yeah, what's up? Huh? What's up now? Please, just stop. Just please leave us alone. We don't want any issues. We don't want any trouble. Nah, I told you. If it wasn't me, it wasn't going to be nobody else. I told you that, didn't I? Hey, bro, you need to shut up. I told you. Bow! He fires. He hits her. She falls backwards. It's like a coffee table. She falls over the table. Boom. Luckily, it wasn't glass. It was just, it was a wooden coffee table. She falls straight back. Joseph sees that. No! Obviously, who wouldn't do that? See somebody, your future wife, or your significant other, just anybody in general that you love and care about, and you don't watch this man just shoot her for no reason? Immediately, he goes to charge the dude. As he goes to charge the dude, because they're in a little small apartment, as he goes to charge the dude is trying to fire on Joseph. As he goes to fire, he hits his hand, so the gun goes up. He fires, but it, boom, shoots through the ceiling. It goes through the apartment upstairs. Luckily, because there was kids up there, none of them got hurt. Now they wrestling around. Just like on TV, they wrestling. The gun's still in his hand, but they wrestling. This dude, Joseph said this dude was probably, he was 4 or 5 inches shorter than him. So he was probably 5'11". So Joseph 6'4.5". They wrestling. Joseph big dude, man. He been in penitentiary, man, and just lifting weights, and dude didn't have nothing for him. So the gun falls. Once the gun falls, Joseph picks the gun up. Oh, please don't, man. Please. Come on, bro. It wasn't even nothing like that. Please don't. Joseph's looking at his girl, his fiance. She's laid. She's shot. But he got the gun on dude, so he don't know what to do. He calls the police. Now, the police, he's figuring that probably already being called anyway because of the gunshots, but he calls the police. And as mentioned, the police was already on their way when he calls. He wanted to do him in. Joseph said, man, I wanted to just... So he's trying to render aid to his wife, but yet he's trying to, make sure that dude don't run out and leave, even though they knew who he was or what have you. He sees that his wife is okay. Like, she gets hit, but she kind of gets hit, like, on the side, like, right in her shoulder area. Like, slightly above her armpit. So, look, baby, take this, apply pressure. But at the same time, he's watching this individual. Police come. Once they come in, they grab dude. Now, it gets really interesting because Joseph is a felon. He's not supposed to be in possession or anywhere near a gun, a firearm, or a handgun. Any sort of guns, weapons that could be lethal whatsoever. Police come in, he still got the gun. He immediately lays it down. Explains to them what happened. He has to give his take on the situation. They interview him or what have you. And they don't end up charging him. In which most people's like, oh, well, how could they charge him? This is the Commonwealth state, man. This is a Commonwealth of Kentucky, where they make up rules and where they make up laws as they go. And I don't say that lightly. I mean that literally. As they go, they will make up rules. Now, it would have been kind of difficult in that situation because she didn't have the gun. The individual that had the gun was the perpetrator. So the police come. They have him in custody or what have you. Everybody, the ambulance comes. They take her to the hospital. Thank goodness it wasn't anything serious. It wasn't anything that was, life-threatening or what have you. He ends up going to jail. He gets like 30 years at 85% because it was a violent crime. He ends up going to do the ex-boyfriend. He gets like 30 years at 85%. And Joseph and his wife, his fiance, they go on to get married as scheduled. And to this day, they have 3 beautiful kids together. It's 2 girls and a boy, and they all like 9, 8, and 7, all close in age. He has a wonderful job. He's been at his job. I don't want to say exactly where he works, but he's been at his job for quite some time. Probably about like 10 years. And, they bought a house together. They got good credit. He's preaching in church. He's not the head preacher, but, he's one of the preachers in church. He has his rap gospel group. And, man, he does Christian comedy. Not Christian comedy, but he does stand-up comedy, but everything's clean. And he's just living such a beautiful life, man. And he told me, he said, man, I was thinking about you the other day, bro, and all the positive encouragement that you gave me when we was locked up, man. And I just want to say thank you, man, because there were times when I got out and it didn't, you always have those thoughts that go back to your mind. It's not like you just get out and just change your life just like that. And he said every time that I was going to do something, man, or anytime that I even remotely thought about doing something, I would hear your voice, man. I would hear you, I would hear your voice in my head, man. Do the right thing, man, simply because it's the right thing to do. Understand that somebody's always watching. I don't care if you think that there's always cameras, there's always people. Somebody is always watching you. And he said, man, I just want to thank you, man. I said, nah, man, you don't know me, no thanks, man. Nah, man, I really, really want to thank you, man. I'm doing so well. I'm blessed, man, in life, man. And if I can help your YouTube channel out, come on and tell my story or just whatever. He ministers the youth. He's just a great, great individual, man. And Joseph is probably maybe 36, 37 years old. No older than 38. And he's a beautiful spirit, man. He's a beautiful spirit. So there's no such thing as you can't turn your life around. There's no such thing as, this has happened and that's happened. So this is where I'm in the mud. So I'm going to stay dormant. I'm going to stay stuck in the mud. We all go through hard times. We all go through periods in life to where things are not going so well for us. But I always talk about how you must find your higher power, because oftentimes we want to do things on our own and change things on our own, but oftentimes we're not capable of doing those things on our own. Not all on our own. Yes, it takes effort from us. We can't just give it to our higher power and change me, and you're not even trying. You have to put forth an effort. But it's crazy because Joseph said the individual, which is his mentor, he's still in touch with him. He was in his wedding. Here it is, an individual that could have taken your life ends up being in your wedding. Powerful testimony, man. I can't wait to bring him on. I can't wait for you all to meet him, Joseph. And, people oftentimes, somebody hit me up today, called my phone, text me rather, and we ended up talking. Kens, man, I just feel like the world is just against me, man. I lost my job. I thought I had another job, and my car payment, and my rent is late, and I feel like going out to do something. But I know that if I do this, I could regret it for the rest of my life. So I told him, well, you already know the answer then. If you know that what you could do would potentially take your life, and which in turn would cause you to regret it for the rest of your life, you know that that's not the right thing to do. I understand. Hopefully you don't lose your car, but you can get another car. You can get another crib. You can get more clothes. But what you can't get is another life. Only get one life to live, man. One life. And I understand licks sound so intriguing, so easy. The same way I explained how Joseph explained it to me. All we got to do is this. They didn't count on another person being in the back. They didn't count on the individual coming out of the back and they having a shootout with the person. They didn't count on, getting that much time in the penitentiary. Yeah, they got time just as well. I don't know exactly how much time, but it was all relatively about the same amount of time. Always understand that you can't plan what's going to happen in life, man. You just simply do the right thing. And when you do the right thing, man, you allow the chips fall wherever they're going to fall. Only thing you can control is what you do. And that's what I told this individual that I spoke to today. I told him that I was going to be dropping this video, praying for you, praying for everybody. And I know that if you continue to put in the work, continue to put in the effort, things will turn for you. And they will go in the opposite direction of where they're heading at now. Put forth that effort, man. See, Joyce Myers once said, there's no elevator to success or to change. Not necessarily success, but change. There's no elevator, but there are stairs. Understand that. There's no elevator to success or change, but there's stairs. And you must take those steps, those stairs, step by step. Real Kens TV. Hopefully you liked the video. Feel free to comment. Definitely share. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. And be sure to hit that post notification. So anytime I bring you this action and this heat, guess what? You're amongst the first to receive, man. Big ups and shout out to Joseph. Hopefully you see this video. He'll be on real soon. Everybody that's in the South Florida area, I pray that, hurricane is not too bad, and I just pray that everybody's okay. We getting a whole lot of rain this way, but I know that it's nowhere near what some individuals are going through. So praying for you, man, and stay as safe as you possibly can. Real Kens TV.